Hello and welcome to this round 10 here at the World Championship. I'm Tim Willoughby alongside Matej Big Z Zadelkai, and well, it's the last round of Limited for this World Championship, and there's been some big names that have been falling, but equally some big names rising to the top. Let's head down to the feature match area as we close things out here for our second draft. At Pro Tour, the World Championship, the culmination of the Pro Tour season, and well, this is the culmination of our draft rounds. We have two great players. We saw Shota Yasooka telling us a little bit about the way that he's been preparing. I heard from BDM, you know, this is a powerful drafter, and he's up against, well, as a constructed master, he's up against the constructed master in terms of qualification for this World Championship. Oliver Tu, also our Rookie of the Year this season. I got a chance to speak to Oliver a little bit about his deck. He said, you know what, it seems okay. I think I can work with this. We're going to get a chance to see exactly what he's brought to the table as these players kick things off here.
Yeah, so Oliver Tu is running a green-white deck that is actually full of rares, and I think we're going to see one on turn 3 if he has the lands necessary to play it, while Shota Yasooka has brought a very interesting deck, which I would call the Thermo Alchemist Tethered Hunter deck. It's focused around these two drops and a lot of other card drawing and counterspell, things like that. Look at that, turn 3 Bygone Bishop and a Prey Upon to kill the Tethered Hunter right away. And just the Thermal Alchemist for Shota Yasooka. Oliver Tu might just run away with this game.
Yeah, we can see there's a Hamlet Captain in hand. We can see Deathcap Cultivator working on there as well. I mean, Shota Yasooka, yes, he's got a path to victory if he casts lots of spells alongside that Thermo Alchemist, but Oliver Tu, he's got a pretty straightforward plan here. It involves casting creatures, making clues, attacking with them, and just beating Shota up.
Yeah, look at that. Paranoid Perishblade, while still is going to add a human to the board, and Deathcap Cultivator getting another clue. And once he also plays the Hamlet Captain, he can pump up his team nicely. So he really got the most out of his mana acceleration with that Ulvenwald Captive. He can even flip it with land the following turn, which is crazy, while beating down with the Bygone Bishop itself. Just wow, look at Shota. He's already on the back foot here.
2 copies of Thermo Alchemist now in play, and we can see a Jace's Scrutiny alongside Unsubstantiate in hand. So it's not as if Shota doesn't have a few bits and pieces going on here. Every spell currently representing 2 additional damage with those Thermo Alchemists in play.
So drawing a card there from one of the clues. Oliver will want to deploy that Hamlet Captain no matter what. And I think he'll also get to attack with his Paranoid Perishblade and a Bygone Bishop. While being able to play the Hamlet Captain, he has so many mana creatures, it should be fairly easy. But he seems to have drawn something else. Oh, it's a Dawn-Gryph, and gets another clue. Bygone Bishop working overtime in this game.
And Bygone Bishop plus all of these mana accelerants being the big deal here, because the Bishop on its own, sometimes you just don't have the mana to crack those clues, but right now, Oliver Tu, his engine very much rolling. Tattered Haunter here from Shota Yasooka. The second one of those, we can see he's had 2 copies of Thermo Alchemist, 2 copies of Tattered Haunter. Meanwhile, Oliver Tu just having all the action.
Yeah, the problem with Shota's draw, it's actually been fine. His hand is decent. He has Jace's Scrutiny at Unsubstantiate and a Pour Over the Pages, so he has the something to do with those Thermal Alchemists, but he's been pretty far behind most of the game, and Oliver has been putting on pressure while also being able to draw some more cards. So these attacks will start to hurt very soon, and if Oliver draws one of those powerful cards that he has, this game can be over very quickly before Shota takes over with those instants and sorceries.
So a block and an Unsubstantiate there in order to deal with Dawn-Gryph. Sorry, that was the Jace's Scrutiny there, my apologies.
Yep, indeed, and a Vessel of Ephemera from Oliver Tu. Still not playing that Hamlet Captain. I haven't liked the fact that he didn't play it earlier, really, because he does already have the Paranoid Parish Blade as well as the Deathcap Cultivator, who are humans, so he would have made his clock that much faster. But he's going for the value now. We'll add some more 1/1 flyers to the board, and he's also not in the threat of dying just yet.
And of course, Shota Yasooka on single digits here is going to have to lean really hard on those Thermo Alchemists if he's going to get back in there. I mean, they're reasonable blockers for creatures on the ground with 3 toughness. He's carefully weighing up his options here because right now, Oliver 2 on 15 life, it's going to take a bit of work in order to whittle him down.
Yeah, and he drew, Shota drew Make Mischief. That's a nice way to kill the Deathcap Cultivator if he decides that he wants to do it. But it looks like he's tapping 2 mana for something else here. Just sack the clue and pass the turn. He was probably hoping to draw a land there. Taking that risk, something that sometimes you have to do it, just because if you're so far behind, you have to take these risks. He wanted to draw. I believe he just tried to crack the clue to draw the land for the Make Mischief whiffed. So now he gets to keep up the unsubstantiated at least.
Yeah, unsubstantiate. He also has a Convolute in hand to toy with just to make life a little bit difficult for Oliver 2 at some point. The tricky bit for him is that Oliver 2 is already just well up on board, creating all sorts of problems for Shota. On 8 life, he's going to have to do something decisive fairly fast here.
Oliver still plenty of cards in his hand, but they're mostly duds here. So wonder how much he can get out of his board. He managed to flip the Ovenval captive already and just swung with the whole team. So that's probably going to mean that Shota will have to jump up with at least one of the Thermo Alchemists, quite likely, seeing that he's on 8 life.
So Shota Yasooka here, lining up blocks, figuring out exactly where he wants to be. The Tattered Haunter can only block flyers, so his options there are a little bit more limited.
Yeah. I think with that unsubstantiated in his hand, he can now bounce the 4/6, the werewolf that flipped, but he's still taking quite a bit of damage. He would add up to 7 total damage if he were to just bounce the 4/6, going down to 1, which is not great, especially with that we know that in the following turns he won't be able to do much because of so many fires being on the board already.
Yeah, Thermo Alchemist, pretty reasonable at keeping the ground at bay. The Tattered Haunter is the only thing that can block anything in the air, though.
Yeah, I think Oliver knew what's up here. He's firmly expecting the bounce spell.
And these players will have had the opportunity to look at each other's deck lists. And how much does that change the value of assorted combat tricks in this format?
Oh, absolutely. Combat tricks are really good in this format. The cheaper, the better. And yeah, let's just see what Shota can do here. I just don't think he has to pour over the pages. Ping Oliver for 2. And just hope to draw something real good. There's an Incendiary Flow. Is he close to killing it? Down to 7, 5, 3 Incendiary Flow. Swing for 2. Did Shota Yasooka just get that from brink of death?
That was incredible. Shota Yasooka there, taking the game from nowhere while on just 1 life. We will have plenty more magic from him, but first, these messages.
Booster Draft Leagues are coming soon to Magic Online. Draft and play at your own pace on your own schedule. Download Magic Online at mtgo.com and join a league starting this Wednesday, September 7th. You're invited to play with the new cards from Kaladesh early. Pre-release events are happening near you on September 24th and 25th. Contact your favorite game store and secure your spot today.
Hello and welcome back to this round 10 of our World Championship here at PAX in Seattle. And while our main match is just sideboarding, we're going to get a chance for a little bit of a live look in at the match between our 2 undefeated drafters from the weekend. On the left of our screen there, that Marcio Carvalho on 10 life, JC Tao with an army of zombies on 12 on the other side of the board. And, well, there's some big Eldrazi on both sides too. This kind of a tricky board to read.
Yeah, I mean, players at 10 to 12. This game is really much. The pace is much slower than what we've seen in the previous match. I'm still trying to get through that as the big Eldrazi straight on this board. It looks like Marcio is a little behind here. I think there was a Nosegraph Mob that was played from JC there. That's what created all those zombies, I would think. There's a Confront the Unknown for Marcy, who's just trying to dig for cards, probably trying to get to Delirium as well. But I just not sure if he can do something about the not only the horde of zombies, but also there's the Cryptolith Fragment, which can really put the hurt if you ever manage to transform it.
And not even that far away from transforming it here. JC Tau at 12, Marcio Carvalho at 10. Not too long before the transformation requirement going to be a hit there for that fragment. And in the meantime, it does mean that JC's mana just a little bit better. Wretched Griff here, sacrificing the Druid there, meaning that we're going to have a land searched up and a card drawn by Marcio Carvalho. The Wretched Griff, he was in the archetype to be doing an awful lot of emerging, but the last possible opportunity he had to find a premium emerge creature, he managed to pick up that Wretched Griff for his deck. A big pickup that really helped Marcio Carvalho in his bid to be utterly undefeated in anything involving Shadows over Innistrad draft at top level.
Yeah, but look at JC. He wasn't just even hesitating. He just swung with all his creatures, put Marcio down to 9, down to 1, attacking for 9 there, and just pinging the last damage with the Cryptolith Fragment. And Marcio Carvalho now has to win 2 games to clinch the perfect record in Shadows over Innistrad Limited, plus lock up his place in the top 4.
Yeah, big pressure match there. But of course, JC Tau has had a pretty fantastic record in that draft format also. We're going to get a chance to see some more Magic soon enough. There's a lot of high-stakes games going on in our feature match area. Luis Scott Vargas has just finished off his first game against Yuya Watanabe, and we're going to get a chance to see some more of our main match between Shota Yasooka and Oliver 2.
Yeah, it looks like Shota is mulliganing there. So those of you just joining us here, I mean, if you missed the first game, I would definitely urge you to rewatch it once it's live, because that was an incredible way that Shota was managing his resources, dropping down to 1 life just to keep his 2 Terramore Alchemists alive, and untapping and just using Pour of the Pages, pinging the Alchemist, untapping 2 lands, and drawing into that key Incendiary Flow that you see in his opening hands for this game to take the game away from Oliver 2. Yeah, if I've never seen Double Thermal Alchemist in action, this is what happens.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. It represents a much faster clock than I think a lot of people had appreciated. And Thermo Alchemist was a card that went up in people's rankings quite a lot once they actually started playing with it. Shota Yasooka, he's on a 6-card hand, which obviously not ideal in this sort of spot, but blue-red is one of those color combinations I've heard described as high variance, but potentially the most potent of any in this draft format.
Yeah, no turn to Thermal Alchemist or Tattered Hunter from Shota Yasooka, who does have a... there it is. I jinxed it. Oliver has a fairly slow hand here, only a turn 3 Story Builder, not even able to get any value out of that. And even now attacking, bluff. Ooh, look at that. Oliver 2 attacking his 2-3 into an 0-3, and Shota Yasooka not willing to block. They're scared of a trick. And rightfully so, Oliver 2 has 2 Prey Upons in his hand. Yeah,
Sanctifier of Souls there, the play for Oliver 2. And with collective effort, a couple of copies of Prey Upon, he's got the potential to remove a large amount of what's going on and get some big hits in. But Shota Yasooka doesn't like that plan too much. We saw the Incendiary Flow in his hand at the start of the game, and well, he had a good target there. He chose to use it. No opportunities to be cute about getting lots of damage to the face this time.
Yeah. So Oliver did draw a Paranoid Perishblade, so a 3-power creature, and could get nice value out of that prayer upon killing the Thermal Alchemist before Shota Yasooka had 3 mana open for that Explosive Apparatus, which he uses now. So the board, fairly small, just a Story Builder.
And we get a chance to see the speed at which Shota Yasooka plays. He's one of those players that he's got the amount of reps in, he knows what's going on. I think his brain just works faster than yours or mine. He seems to always seem to be playing at a lightning pace, and I guess that if opponents try and keep up with him, that potentially a little advantage if he can put them in a pace that's not comfortable for them.
Yeah, and look at that. Oliver 2 just doesn't have any good powerful cards, so he just uses that Expose Evil for 4 mana to tap down the Fogwalker and draw a card. We saw the collective effort, but it's really at its best when you have a lot of creatures, and just Oliver just really needs more.
You can see there Oliver 2 wearing his Magic Online Championship hoodie just to sort of show off the various events that he's been at. Of course, our Rookie of the Year hasn't had as much opportunity to make a name for himself on the Pro Tour just yet, but at this World Championship, he's doing a great job of rising on people's estimations. Yasooka here, showing what blue-red spells does, casting a catalog in order to get closer to what he needs.
Yeah. You know what else he has in his deck? Scoured Laboratory to draw 3 cards, pour other pages to draw 3 more cards. He's really homed in on the Thermal Alchemist card drawing value there.
And there's some big payoff as well. He's got a Mercurial Geist already in hand. When you're casting multiple spells a turn, those Geists utterly terrifying. In the meantime, though, Tattered Haunter coming down. He's got some creatures that can start to think about just putting a little bit of damage in here and there before the big flurry of spells comes.
Indeed. And Oliver 2 not having the the best board or cards in his hand, really. I mean, I see a Fiendbinder, Subjugator, Angel Prayer upon collective effort. So I think he's going to play the Fiendbinder here. He might fight the Stoic Builder with the Tattered Hunter so that he clears the skies for his Dawngrif to attack. And next turn actually could be very interesting if that collective effort finally goes off for Oliver 2. Because Subjugator Angel is also very close and it's a great finisher.
Yeah, it's sometimes tricky to tell exactly how well or badly the blue-red spells deck is doing because it's not a deck that's as keen on filling its board with creatures, with permanents. It's more about getting real value out of its spells, either through prowess, through Thermo Alchemist untaps, or through Mercurial Geist triggers. There's lots of ways of basically taking a relatively mundane spell and making it feel like it does everything.
Shota playing out his creatures here. One of the problems with his Mercurial Geist is the fact that his hand is only sorceries. There's a Make Mischief and a Gone Missing. You prefer to have some instants so that you can at least be a little tricky. Now that he's tapped out, I wonder what Oliver is going to do here because he also has that Fiendbinder. And we already saw that collective effort before, so might be a very key turn for Oliver 2 here.
Oliver doing a little bit of pre-combat math here.
Yep.
And there is the collective effort.
He just doesn't escalate. Really, there's no point. He just puts a 1/1 counter on each of his creatures. Attacks, taps down the Tattered Hunter. He probably wants Shota to block with his Mercurial Geists when he's tapped low.
Yeah, at this point, no enchantments to deal with, and there weren't any creatures that he was going to be able to kill with the sorcery unless Shota Yasooka chose to oblige by making Mercurial Geists big. This, a perfectly fine permanent pump spell, means that Fogwalker kind of forced to block here. Shota Yasooka dropping down to 6, draws for his turn, and he's going to have to figure out a fairly nice plan here if he wants to stay in this game.
So I think Shota has to play a Gone Missing this turn on the Fiendbinder because that's just that's the biggest problem that he's facing so far. It would also make sure that Oliver doesn't draw a 6th land because we know that he has a Subjugator Angel that he's looking to play and finish the game off with. Yep. So he puts the Fiendbinder on top, gets a clue. It's still not a great spot though.
Yeah, Yasooka here has to effectively throw away the +3 power that the Mercurial Geist got given all too briefly. Could not afford to attack there with the life total that he's on and what Oliver 2 has in hand. He knows what Oliver 2 is going to have drawn for that turn. That much is the easy bit, but the hard bit is staying alive for long enough to be able to actually get back in the game.
Yep. So Shota being down at 6, he just has to make sure that he untaps one more turn. with a decent enough board. Right, so Dongriff trades with Mercurial Geist, the Tattered Hunter survives there, but Shota goes down to 3, and he knows he has to face the Fiendbinder here. So with the Mercurial Geist being dead here and Shota drawing 2 lands, I don't think I don't think he can snatch the game away like he did last time around.
No, Oliver 2 on 18 rather than 15 or 11, I think, as he was when things finally ended last time. And there's not the Thermo Alchemist just playing a Nibelus of Dusk there, make mischief in order to make a devil, but very much a rearguard action here for Shota Yasooka.
Yeah, does Oliver have the 6th land for the Subjugator Angel? No, he drew a spell. It's a Bygone Bishop. That's a good one, though. I mean, his board position is quite dominant regardless. He can just attack, tap down the Devil, force the Nibelus of Dusk to block, and Shota still has to have something else, and yeah, he just packs them up.
All right, we're going to have a game 3. Lovely stuff. More Magic here in this round 10. This is our last round of the day today. This our draft day, and we're going to get a chance to get a look in on one of our other matches, a very high stakes match indeed. That being the finals of our Table 1 draft, effectively. Marcio Carvalho up against JC Tao.
Oh, and look at that. Wretch Griff on the board, and against the archives for Marcio. But there's something going on with all those creatures from JC here. Right, there's an Abundant Maw. Is there a Summer Dismissal again? We saw that from Marcio. It would be really a fantastic accomplishment if Marcio won this match. Look at that. A Summer Dismissal as expected. So exile some of the triggers.
It's removed. Oh, it's removed. Okay. This trigger? Yeah,
Oh,
sacrifice. You have to put the counter first.
Okay.
Okay.
There's some tricksy stuff going on there.
Summary Dismissal has been an absolute house for Marcio Carvalho throughout this draft. We saw it just doing some fantastic work last round.
Yeah, the life total is still fairly high, and even though it looks like Marcio is a little behind on the board, he has that Wretch Grave attacking. Guys to the archives holding the fort down a little.
3 cards? 3 cards.
So plenty of cards in hand for both these players. Marcio already game down, so he's going to have to win 2 on the bounce if he wants to get that frankly absurd, unbelievable record in draft for this entire block at Pro Tour or better level.
I know you got a speed. Just ask them. But I know you have.
So JC, not too many cards in hand here. Going to have to rely largely on what he's already got going on the board.
JC's board is growing. I mean, Marcio is really trying to do everything he can to stave off the bleeding. There was no Scrap Mob there. And look at that, Swift Spirit now, another instant speed threat. But he really has to try hard not to fall behind too much while attacking in the air as well.
Damage? Take 5.
Yeah, he's taking 5 here. Or a +1/+1 counter on the Unhallowed Zombie there.
Yeah, Gavin Unhallowed, just one of those cards that as a 2/4 looks okay, but doesn't take long to look absolutely fantastic. And Bruna coming down for JC Tao. Nothing to get back by the looks of things. His graveyard not exactly stocked with angels or humans, but you know what? It is absolutely gigantic in the air, that Bruna.
Yeah, it's a huge 5/7 flyer. And yeah, we know that Marcio actually, once the big threats are resolved, he doesn't have that many ways to deal with them. And yeah, now scrying for his turn with the guys to the archives. JC Tao is 5-0 in limited himself. Both players are 5-0, and now they're meeting in the ultimate match for the right to be called the 6-0 drafter at Worlds. Look, the Bruna is dragged under it, and just Marcio's swinging. He's just trying whatever it takes to win this game, and he has to.
Ingenious Scarb coming down. It looks like our main match is ready to go, though, so we are going to be able to get a chance to head back across to that one. We will, of course, bring you updates on what's been going on in that match because, well, it's a big one for Marcio Carvalho, not just in terms of the accolade of hitting Super Draft Master, if you will, but also potentially locking up a spot in the top 4 here at the World Championship. Hinterland Logger here coming down as the early play for Oliver 2. Meanwhile, removal coming in the form of Imp's Mischief from Shota Yasooka. Devil sat behind after the board otherwise cleared.
Slow starts for both players, but Shota has the Mercurial Geists.
Looks like there's 2 copies of Mercurial Geist going on for Shota Yasooka. We may see a second one coming from him soon enough. Incendiary Flow in hand, Thermo Alchemist. Turn aside a nice one. Not necessarily something that you see in main decks always, but as a sideboard card, sometimes it can create some of the bigger blowouts in the entire format.
Yeah, like this is very suspicious from Oliver too. Not playing into turn 4. I'd be thinking Swift Spinner or Silver Strike, and here comes the Swift Spinner, and let's see if there's something instant speedy. No instant speed spells for Shota himself. Just pings for 1 with the Mercurial Geist. So.
Humans, right?
All right.
I can also reach an angel.
2 copies of Thermo Alchemist. So every spell that Shota Yasooka casts from now on will be effectively dealing 2 extra damage to Oliver 2 and giving Mercurial Geist plus 3 power. So effectively 5 extra damage from every spell that's being cast from Shota Yasooka in this point in the game. And, well, with Oliver 2 on 17 life, he really does not require too many spells to be a lethal threat here.
Yeah, and looking at Shota's hand of Incendiary Flow and Scarred Laboratory, those are quite threatening. And problem for the green-white deck traditionally has been just dealing with things on the board. Things like Thermal Alchemist, which are quite threatening. We know Oliver does have some Prey-Upons, so he could deal with those eventually, but he just doesn't have any in his hand just yet. I think I saw an Exposed Evil there.
An aggressive attack there with the Griff Spoon on Oliver 2's creature, followed up with Deathcap Cultivator. He's got a bit more mana to go with now, and Expose Evil is going to potentially buy him a small amount of respite here if Shota Yasooka chooses to play lots of spells to pump up Mercurial Geist this turn.
Well, we'll see what he does. So we're going to see an Incendiary Flow on that Swift Spinner. That gets exiled, but the Griff Spoon gets put in the graveyard. It can be bought back. I think there's going to be the Exposed Evil from Oliver, who needs to prevent some damage while also getting the Investigate. But Shota not even hesitating with that turn aside.
So 2 spells being cast that turn, meaning Mercurial Geist attacking in for a whopping 7 damage. Turn aside there for just the 1 mana, able to counter a spell that targets any of his permanents. In this case, Expose Evil being exposed is not quite good enough. Oliver 2 on just 6 life now. That a very, very precarious life total in the face of these Thermo Alchemists.
You sacrifice a creature, I'll gain 4 life. 16. They're on tap. Go to blocks. Sure.
Big plays here from Shota Yasooka. And he does need them. I mean, this match tied at 1 game apiece. Desperately looking to advance his record. Currently 6-3, would love to be at 7-3 going into the modern rounds of this World Championship.
Oh yeah, and you can be sure that Shota is going to bring something really cool for modern, and with a good record especially. As this game is winding down, you can see Oliver is a little deflated himself. He knows that there's 2 Thermal Alchemists on the battlefield, and he's basically doesn't have anything to deal with it.
Yeah, basically any spell coming from Shota Yasooka here is going to be enough to make this game very, very difficult for Oliver to win. Quick update, we've heard that Lucas Blahon won his match, so he gets up to 7-3. We've got a bit of a scrum at 7-3. Luis Scott Vargas, he's up at 6-4 now. He won his match against Yuya Watanabe. These matches falling thick and fast in our feature match area.
Yeah. You can see their Sanctifier of Souls really doing some work, being able to create a 1/1 spirit to trump up the Mercurial Geist for a turn. But Oliver too knows that the clock is winding down. He did draw a Prey-Upon there. He could kill one of the Thermal Alchemists.
Oliver too here. I mean, he said that he felt okay about his deck, but not great. And right now, he can't be feeling too good about the board on the other side of the table. Those Thermo Alchemists, they don't need to get into the red zone. All they need is spells to be cast by that man, Shota Yasooka. Scour the Laboratory, costing 6. 5 lands available for Shota Yasooka. Vildimpak Outcast, a perfectly fine creature to get on the board, but I think that the main plan for Shota here is going to be simple. He may not even need a spell. End of turn, shoot you for 2. Untap, shoot you for 2 could be enough. And a prey upon forcing at least one of these Thermo Alchemists to head to the graveyard. It gets a parting shot in, sends Oliver to 3.
Yeah. And gives him a flyer as well. Very important in blocking that Mercury guys. So there's the game with a ping and a Scarlet Laboratory. That's it.
So Shota Yasooka wins his match 2-1, and you know what? There is one match still going, and it's the one match that, well, we've had plenties of look-ins on, but I'm not at all sad to go back to. That one being Marcio Carvalho up against JC Tao.
They're still going. Marcio is fighting tooth and nail for the win. He wants it. And, of course, I would love to see Marcio go the perfect 18-0 in 2 Protors and Worlds, because he's just a phenomenal draft. Look at that. He finally found a way to kill that Bruna and exiles it. Uses that burn from within to do so. And leaving JEC's board decimated. There's the Desperate Sentry and a Spirit, but not much else. And look at that, Marcio attacking.
Yeah, these life totals kind of close. JC Tao dropping to 13 on the attack from the Wretched Griff here. And yeah, we have very much a game on our hands here. JC Tao there. You see him supporting Child's Play with his sponsorship on his badge there. Child's Play, the charity that's very much interlinked with this PAX convention.
Yeah, look at that. Spectral Reserves, gaining 2 life, getting another Spirit.
Sure. I think one is dead. 1, 2.
Oh, look at that. Did Marcio just throw away his guys? He thought the Desperate Sentry is a 1-2, but that Spectral Reserves gave JC Tao the Delirium, making it into a 4-2, and also a Tooth Collector, making the Wretched Griff smaller. Marcio dropping down a 9. He does have any. Okay, Ulvenwald Captive. He can transform that into a 4-6, but does he have a way to deal with all those pesky flyers as well?
I mean, the Wretched Griff may just have to sit back on defense for a little while here. Obviously, he's not going to be able to swing in with nearly as much force now that that Tooth Collector is shrinking the 3/4 flyer on each of his turns.
Go ahead.
And nothing from JC Tao. Remember, JC does have a Haunted Dead in his graveyard, so any blanks that he draws, he can cash them in for another 1/1 Spirit and a 2/2. Looks like Marcio transformed his Ulvenwald Captive. Has a lot of mana at his disposal. But he just needs to draw some action. He has a Nebelgast Herald in his hand. Look at that. He's attacking with a 4/6 here.
And a 4/6 enough to prompt what looks to be at least a double block from JC Tao.
Yeah, blocks with both creatures. Yeah, gets to kill both.
Okay, that's it.
Of course, JC does get himself an Eldrazi token with the death of that Sentry.
Yeah.
Nebelgast Herald at some point could very much throw off the combat, but for now, Marcio Carvalho keeping it in hand. It's got Flash, so there's no real pressing need to play it early. And, well, these Ulvenwald Captives have been fantastic for Marcio Carvalho in this draft. Haunted Dead coming back, bringing a Spirit with it.
Yeah, problem for Marcio is that now with 4 Spirits being there, JC is getting real close to having enough creatures to start just jamming everything into Marcio.
And Thalia Heretic Cathar will mean that Nebelgast Herald, as and when it comes into play, will come into play tapped, and that could be a big deal.
Indeed, especially against so many flyers. That this is a super close match, and we've seen Marcio's games in this tournament, especially in the second draft, be really interesting. His deck being very powerful, but needing the late game sometimes, being able to sideboard in quite a few different cards. Just overall great effort from him, and he's been fantastic all tournament long, only losing once, and that in Constructed, which we know is not his biggest strength.
And of course, in this match, the other thing that he needs to consider is time. He's already he sort of had a long game 1. This game 2 has not been quick, and at the moment JC Tao leads 1-0. while an undefeated record in this format would be lovely, he would much rather it be without an asterisk by it for there was a draw in the mix there.
True, but ultimately the win is even more important because it will lock him for the top 4. Very likely. At 9-1 with good tiebreakers, that should mean that he would be in great shape. Okay, so there's Nebelgaz Herald tapping down the Eldrazi Horror.
Abundant more in hand for JC Tao, though. That one a game changer in terms of this board.
Yeah, and remember it just drains for 3, and Marcio means effectively Marcio is down to 6.
You can see there Chapman Sim in the background writing up this match. You will be able to read full coverage of this very important draft match on Daily MTG soon enough.
And it might just mean that JC really has to decide what he wants to attack here. Problem is that attacking with his 2 ground creatures would just mean that they would both die, and he would hit Marcy down to 5. So I think he might just wait a turn.
So there we see the abundant more that is just coming into play here for JC Tao. Conveniently able to sacrifice his creature that had just been sent to sleep. Sleep paralysis turning into a 6/4 Eldrazi Leech that has drained Marcio Carvalho down to just 6 life here.
Yeah, and now 6 to 18 are life totals, and Marcio only has a fork in the road here. His next turn, I'm sure JC Tao will swing with everything. He can go the perfect 6-0 in draft here with the attack. If that's enough to win the game on the spot, I'm not sure. Look at that, Marcio just has lands in his hand. And JC is looking like he's tapping everything.
Everybody's coming in, and there's the handshake.
Wow.
JC Tao takes it. What a fantastic day for him it's been.
What a crushing blow for Marcio Carvalho. He could have gone the perfect 18-0. I mean, he'll settle for a 17-1, but he was just so close. I really wanted him to get there. He was so phenomenal over the last few months in Shadows over Innistrad Limited. I think he really deserved to win there. But I mean, 17-1 is still fantastic, and he's only 2 losses in the tournament.
Yeah, still tournament leader in spite of that loss. Marcio Carvalho putting on a fantastic performance. And of course, if you want to learn about exactly how he got there in this last draft, you can on our draft viewer, which will be going up online soon enough, watch each and every pick of his, alongside each and every pick of every player in that draft. A lot of interesting decisions being made there, I'm sure. And it's a different caliber of draft that we see here at the World Championship. There are no players that are by any means a slouch at this draft format, and it means that you can't necessarily rely on getting the good cards super late. It's about positioning, it's about making careful decisions to make sure that you read the draft really well, and I think that Marcio did exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to learn draft from someone, just go back on Daily MTG website, look at the card viewer, and just look at what Marcio Carvalho was doing. He's just a phenomenal drafter. He owned this format, and I'm just really impressed. Like, I think I would learn not a lesson or 2, maybe like a lesson or 20 here. Yeah, he was just phenomenal.
Yeah, he's just the consistency against the caliber of player that he's been playing against is almost unheard of in any format. Yeah. And that is the end of our draft rounds here for today at the World Championship. Let's send things back to the news desk as they bring you all the extra information as to what's been going on.
Tim Willoughby, Matej Zatlkaj, thanks for the call there. Ian, Marcio Carvalho, so close to the 18-0, but an amazing performance. He, of course, ends the day still in the lead of our World Championship at 8-2. So hats off, Marcio, and now forget the records. Let's get into the business of getting you into the top 4 and a chance at $70,000, part of our $250,000 prize purse here. I've been joined by Ian Duke as we head down the stretch here. Brian David Marshall is on the floor for us, hopefully checking in on the last match of the day that is still going. That's between Niels Norlander and Kazuyuki Takamura. Now, they didn't have great days yesterday, Ian, but they've come back strong. Both of them playing to win, in that bottom pod. Norlander has won 2 matches straight, so a good job by him. Let's head down to Niels Norlander against Kazuyuki Takamura. Take it away, BDM.
Right, Rich, for a long time here, it has been just an Exultant Cultist versus a Thermo Alchemist. The scores are 20 for Takamura to 12 for Niels Norlander. But the graves have risen. There's a rise from the grave. The tides have risen, actually. Rise from tides. We've got 3 zombie tokens that just came into play. And that exultant, and it is 11 to 20. I'm sorry. It is Kazuki Takamura who is at 11 and Niels Norlander who is at 20. Because, of course, that alchemist has been in play for a few turns here, pinging away. Got a transformed werewolf there. It is the fibrous entangler, but a bedlam reveler just came down. 3 cards for Niels Norlander. One of my favorite cards in this set.
So neither of these players in contention for the Final Four. They both had very difficult day ones. Norlander is at 3-6 right now. Kazuyuki Takamura, Pro Tour champion, at 2-7. He was here, as he put it, to represent the casual players. And for those people who didn't see the preview BDM, tell us about Team Budagoya, if you get a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Team Budagoya is the team that Takamura plays with, and they are a local group of Magic players in Japan, and they play in a regular monthly Magic tournament in the same location that has 2 halls. There's one large room, and then there's a smaller room where the higher table numbers end up being, and that's where you end up if you're not doing well, and they call that the Budagoya, which is Japanese for pigsty. And so these guys got together, and when I say guys, I should say guys and gals, because Takamura's wife does play with them on the team, as well as a number of other women, and they got themselves together to pull themselves up out of the pigsty, and that's Team Budagoya.
That's just a fantastic story as Kazuyuki Takamura tries to claim a pro point. That's what these two are playing for. But also they're playing for cash prizes because there are 4 rounds of Modern still to go. And for Niels Norlander in particular, who is 1 round ahead of Takamura right now, as Norlander sits at 3-6, he can get to 4-6 here, come in with a good Modern performance tomorrow, end up potentially as high as 8-6, and that could be good for quite a lot of cash dollars, BDM. We've got $250,000 to give away in total, $70,000 to the winner. But way down the field, they're going to be playing for significant amounts of money tomorrow in Modern before our top 4 on Sunday.
Rich, I can tell you when these guys are done, I do have JC Tao on hand to find out about being the 6-0 drafter here at the Magic the Gathering World Championship. He's waiting patiently, like everyone else, for the result of this match.
Yeah, that I'll look forward to that, BDM. Also, we saw in the background there, Nate Holt from Walking the Plains was chatting with JC. And it's great to see the Walking the Plains guys here. I know that they've certainly got no shortage of beautiful backdrops on which to shoot their material this weekend.
Okay, Niels Norlander has pushed all his creatures into the Ursat's red zone here. Bedlam Reveler, 3 zombie tokens, a Sanguinary Mage, an Exultant Cultist is sacrificed. The Drownyard Behemoth steps in front of the Bedlam Reveler.
If you hear noises off, approximately half of the World Championship competitors are about to walk just past me here on the top deck of the hall. Palavida Domidarosa just going by Mike Sigrist, who's fallen from 5-0 to 5-5. In the background, Willie Adel sitting with Thiago Saporito of Brazil and Marcio Carvalho, who leads the tournament, remember, at 8-2.
Wow, here is a Savage Alliance from Niels Norlander. 1 to your team, ping you, with the Thermo Alchemist. I imagine some trample will be involved here. Prowess trigger on the Sanguinary Mage. Lots of stuff going to the red zone, and at the end of it all, Takamura falls to 5. And he still has a Drown Yard Behemoth, though, holding off a Sanguinary Mage and doing very little against that Thermo Alchemist. 16 for Niels Norlander still. Takamura plays land, passes the turn, and falls to 4.
So BDM, I'm up here with Ian Duke, and Ian, I wanted to ask you, with Niels Norlander up there on 15 life and Takamura down on 4, are we looking at the last rites of this one?
I think we might be. Takamura looks like he's in a pretty rough spot right now. Just one creature on the battlefield.
Trying to stay in it, but BDM, it looks like you could be not far away from a win for Niels Norlander.
Yep, it is 316. Passes the turn back to Norlander. Niels is activating Thermo Alchemist on his turn. That drops Takamura down to 2. Taps 6 mana. Pays full retail for a Lightning Axe. That's going to drop him to 1. Takamura extends the hand, and Niels Norlander takes the match. That is the last of the action down here on the floor, Rich Hagon. Sending it back up to you and Ian at the top deck.
Thanks very much, BDM. Rich and Ian here with you as we take it towards the end of day 2 here at the World Championship. Just filling in the scores there. Niels Norlander was 2-5 yesterday. He's gone 2-1, Ian, in draft here. So 4-6, good performance by him. Takamura on 2-8 will certainly not be back for finals day on Sunday, but still has 4 pro points to pay for, which is essentially like making the top 8 of a Grand Prix. He can do that tomorrow when we play Modern.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all these players are going to be staying in the tournament, playing their hearts out, trying to earn every last pro point they can get.
So as we know, Brian David Marshall is gearing up for an interview with JC Tao, the player who went 6-0 in draft this weekend, and the only player in the last umpteen Pro Tour rounds to defeat Marcio Carvalho, the draft master who utterly lived up to his name. I think in most of the seats, once you get the seat, it's just everyone's the same. It's all democratic. It doesn't matter whether you're a champion or a master or a region or one of the pros. But I think it's pretty great that the draft master has lived up to that reputation here.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just been a wonderful narrative to follow, and it was a pleasure watching Marcio draft in the booth earlier on, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the tournament is going to have in store for him.
For sure. Well, very likely a top 4. Now, someone else who's put himself in prime position is JC Tao, our Oath of the Gatewatch champion. Why don't we head down to the floor, find out about his day 2 in the company of Brian David Marshall.
Thanks, Rich. I'm here with JC Tao. JC, you just went 6-0 in Limited at the World Championship. How does that feel?
It feels amazing. All my hard work.
I mean, you know, when people talk about you, you're described by your teammates as the Limited guy a lot of the time. This is the format you really enjoy.
I enjoy Limited. I wouldn't say I'm the Limited guy. I just like playing.
Oh, wait, maybe they said the guy that likes Limited.
Yes, that's closer to the truth.
What did this second draft deck look like? When you sat down at the table, how did it take form? What were your early picks? And I know people will be able to recreate it in the draft viewer, but what did it look like from your perspective?
It was pretty straightforward. I opened Bruna, and then I got past Thalia. Unfortunately, I did not get past Thalia's Lancers, but the white cards kept coming, and it took me. I was free to pick with the second color whenever I chose to, which always is a great spot. I had a bunch of white cards in the pack 1 and a couple black cards. And then in the second pack, when I got the Newsgraph Mob, that sort of cemented what colors I was in. And then in pack 3, all the black cards start coming. So
for you, the lesson is to really like entrench yourself in a color and then see what the table gives you to do with the back half of your deck?
Not always. In my case, it worked out because I was getting past very strong bombs in one color. But no, I wouldn't say that always works out.
Okay, so now you are you're X and 3 here at the end of 3 legs of the competition, and we're going into a format that you should be excited about. This is the format where you won your Pro Tour. We're going into 4 rounds of Modern. Are you feeling that level of excitement?
I am excited, yes. Tentatively speaking. In Modern, any deck can beat any other deck. It really depends on what other players and competitors are bringing to the tables.
How much has Modern changed since that Pro Tour and since, the repercussions of your crazy Eldrazi deck?
Modern has definitely changed. I think it's still changing. There are still cards that people are tinkering with and building new decks with. I would say overall it's gotten a little bit actually slower. I'm not sure how slow, but the Jund and Junk decks are able to put up a fight. And that was different from back in the old the Gatewatch days.
All right, well, JC, you've got 4 rounds of fighting to do in Modern left tomorrow. Good games the rest of the way here at the Magic the Gathering World Championship.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much to Brian David Marshall and to JC Tao. Welcome back to the top deck here at the amazing venue here. It is just the most extraordinary environment to bring you Magic from. The players feel it, the broadcasters feel it. We hope you feel it at home too. It is a sumptuous setting for a great, great event. Now I must just tidy up. Niels Norlander, hats off. That wasn't 2-1. That was 3-0 in the pod. He was 1-6 yesterday, so 3 wins straight. Battling back to 4-6. Hats off to the Magic Online champion for fighting back, because at 1-6, Ian, it's a pretty lonely hotel room on the first night of Worlds.
That's true, but yeah, congratulations to him for bouncing back. Must have been all that Magic Online practice paying off, right?
Right, so great job by Niels Norlander today. Now, what is our broadcast schedule? Because we're closing in on the end of day 2 of 5 here at PAX, day 2 of our World Championship of 4. Let's take a look at our broadcast schedule for you. Now, we've already kicked off today. We're almost at the end of Friday, September 2, at least where we are. Some of you probably already into Saturday. At the weekend, it's the same kickoff time both days. That's 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UTC, our European friends. Roughly, you get the evening of entertainment. And then on Monday, we have a nice lie-in. It's 1 p.m. We start our coverage from PAX. So how does that all break down? Let's take you through what we've already seen and what is still to come here. It's been action-packed, and for people wondering, Ian, who are just arriving and going, what do you mean round 10? It's only Friday evening. Well, they missed a lot on Thursday.
Yeah, they sure did. Thursday was day 1 of our World Championship here. We kicked it off with 3 rounds of Shadows and Eldritch Moon booster draft, and then followed up with 4 rounds of Standard Constructed. So we had 3 undefeated drafters at that point. That was JC Tao, Mike Sigris, Marcio Carvalho. Then we went into Standard, and there's no doubt in Standard, the big headline deck was Steve Rubin and his crush of tentacles. Oh man, Rich, that was just so awesome to watch that. I mean, there were just some of the best games of Standard Magic I've ever seen on Thursday, yeah.
Now, I know that you're a very busy guy, so I imagine that you have not yet had the chance to make good on your promise to go back and re-watch Rubin against 2, that epic draw that we saw in the final round.
That is true, but as soon as the dust settles here this weekend, I'm definitely going back and watching that footage again.
Monday evening, you, me, pizza, Rubin and 2. I think that's a great play. So that's what happened there. What about Friday? Let's take a look at the Friday that's just gone. We opened up with our Grand Kaladesh opening at 11 o'clock this morning. If you haven't seen it yet, go and check it out on YouTube. Tons of surprises, all the great unveils from the new Magic World of Kaladesh. That was followed up by Ian and chums at the mechanics of Kaladesh. We had a world building panel as well with Aaron Forsyth, Kimberly Krenis was there, and a ton of the creative team part of the world building panel. And then we are coming to the end of our coverage of World Championship Day 2. We'll have a wrap covering everything that's happened in the World Championship in just a moment. But we go into the weekend. What does Saturday have in store? Let's take a look for you. And Saturday will begin. Let's see, it is going to be Ian. Modern kicks us off.
Yeah, so we're kicking things off tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time, with day 3 of the Magic World Championship, and that is going to be 4 rounds of Modern Constructed.
All right. At that point, we will know our top 4. But we won't see them for a while because we've got an action-packed back half of Saturday coming to you live from PAX here at the Paramount Theatre. What's the story? Well, that's the creative Q&A panel where you can ask anyone on the creative team, anything you like. It isn't just about Kaladesh, it's right the way across the multiverse. Anything you've wanted to know about your favorite planeswalkers, anything you've wanted to know about your favorite creatures, your favorite planes, when will we be going here, why do we do this, favorite flavor text, anything you like, fair game. Join us live here at the Paramount Theatre. There's tons more. We're going to show you today's Drive to Work podcast that Mark Rosewater did live with Gavin Verhey and a bunch of other R&D alumni. So that's going to be part of your Saturday entertainment. And then improv entertainment comes your way as well. What about Sunday though, Ian? That's the big one for us in the World Championship.
That's right. So by the end of the day Saturday, we will have our top 4 competitors here at the World Championship. And on Sunday, we will be having those top 4 play off there. But before that, we actually have the Kaladesh with the pros panel, which is something I'll be in here, and we'll be covering the some of the preview cards we saw this weekend, the new mechanics, and talking through that with the pros.
By the way, that card in that panel, it's pretty fun. I like that card. All right, so that's the World Championship top 4, and then the fun keeps going on Monday. We churn it up a notch. Deck Building 101, Blogger Tog Live, the Inventors Spell Singing Showdown, and don't you dare miss the closing program, because they have kept a few surprises way up their sleeve for Monday evening. So that's the shape of the weekend still to come. It's been great to have you with us, but with the news that the final standings are now in, by my reckoning, as it always is, that must make it time for the end of day wrap.